Main Street Sports Today, the Hall of Famer and Sports Writer of the Year. He's on your right, wearing gray today. That is Mo Patton, and the Sundrop Kid from Alabama in a light blue polo. I'll put that.
To this point already, let me just tell you guys, our Friday show is going to be an absolute doozy. You are not going to want to miss Friday's show. You're not going to miss any show this week because you never know who's going to be able to stop by at the table on Radio Row here.
Where have we heard that before? You never know who's going to stop by.
That's right.
It's true even here in Atlanta.
It's more true here in Atlanta.
It's more true here in Atlanta. And you know what's pretty ironic about that is that promo that we use.
Mm-hmm.
One of our guests today is in it.
That's right. We were talking about that earlier. Maybe we should play the promo right before he comes in.
Yeah, there we go. I think that's cool.
So, anyway. Hey, maybe
now
they
can see us.
Mm-hmm.
They can see us better. What big eyes you have, Grandma.
I'm not quite sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But.
Yeah, we do have faces for radio. We're all aware. Man, what a day. As JP said, Clark Lee here in Atlanta making some pretty bold statements. But one statement that he particularly made, Mo, doesn't really seem all that bold because he named his starting quarterback today and told folks that Ken Seals would not be the starting quarterback as Mike Wright had won the job. The thing is that Mike Wright is one of the 3 athletes that Clark Lee brought to Atlanta, so it would have seemed very odd.
A little anticlimactic, is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying it would have been
terribly
really
anticlimactic. I don't think.
Here's Mike Wright. He's our backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody brings backups
No.
to this thing. Certainly not their backup quarterback. So I mean,
We kind of knew.
so we kind of deduced. We put 2 and 2 together and kind of came up with 4 on that one. But it is our opening kickoff, our top story of the day here. Mike Wright was confirmed.
Yes,
There you go. I like
confirmed.
that.
That is a good way to
By
put it.
Vanderbilt's second-year coach Clark Lee as the Commodores' starting quarterback as they head into their season opener at Hawaii, a trip on which SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey lobbied to accompany the Commodores
Yeah.
on, actually.
Yeah.
So.
What do you mean? I don't think he needs to lobby. I don't know if you noticed, though, Clark Lee, of course, was making the rounds. It looked like he had a linen suit on. I wonder if getting ready for Hawaii.
Getting ready.
Maybe.
There we
It was
go.
a light tan linen suit.
Be careful about tan
Yeah.
That's exactly where I was going to. I was sitting there thinking, please don't say anything about a tan suit. We're gonna have a.
JP
whole
has suddenly gotten very fashion conscious on us. I don't know what's
I've
up
always
with that.
been. I'm just now
I'm really
speaking
having
up
to
about
kind
it.
of watch what I wear on the show, but I don't want to get called out. But yeah,
Well, I think he's getting ready for some future duties that he will have. And I know that anyone who may be just listening instead of watching, Alabama in their familiar crimson tops with the familiar crimson hats.
That's
White pants with the double crimson stripes.
Always one of my most favorite parts in calling a game, especially, basketball game, but football as well, is you get to call on radio. You get to call what they're wearing. Let them know. Yeah.
You have to tell folks
Got
what
the
they're
stripes
wearing.
down the
Franklin
side of the
moving
short
left
pants.
to right on your dial.
Radio dial.
Yeah.
On your radio dial, it's class
Which,
4.
which nobody knows
Yeah.
what a radio dial
So
is
I
anymore
kind
either.
of
But,
flip that in as we sit in the press box on the home side of the field, or as we sit courtside. Yeah, I
so
had
you
that
don't
little-
refer to the radio
I
dial.
try not to because of that thing. But I mean, people, it's old school. It is old school, left to right on your radio dial. I think
love
Mike
it.
Key still does that.
I love the
Yeah.
radio dial.
I do too.
I mean, because,
Well,
again,
to me, it kind of puts me
Yeah.
if I'm
30,
listening
40 years
Mm-hmm.
ago listening to those UT football games in my car or whatever.
if
yeah.
I'm listening to something on the radio, I want to feel like I was listening to it in 1992.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So there you go.
So there's that. Anyway, we have a fantastic show lined up for you. We're going to talk a little bit more about Vanderbilt on the other side of our first break. But before we do that, we got to tell you about the 4 things that are going on today and yesterday in the world of sports. So we send it to JP for today's jog down.
Yeah,
Stroll down.
We'll just add a little backbeat music here real quick. This is your rundown. It is presented by Insert Your Business here.
That's correct.
U.S. women's soccer team, they get that win last night over Canada in the CONCACAF finals. So they are the CONCACAF champions for 2022. So congrats to the U.S. women's national team. All-Star game tonight, 7 o'clock. Of course, last night we called the home run derby as we were gathering a little food after the long day and saw the festivities last night. Albert Pujols with some fun festivities getting to the second round. But the actual All-Star game tonight, 7 o'clock. We'll run down the starters coming up later on the program. And then we've got WNBA tonight, Connecticut and New York. Actually, has that already happened? It did, 10:30 a.m. What's with these morning games? They got some sort of
We're
thing
asking
going?
the same question. We don't know.
This is not the first time we've seen this.
No,
this
it's
is
not.
like-
And it's kind of confusing.
Interesting. There's got to be
So
something
they've
behind
got, They've
that.
got a game at 10:30 in the morning and 9 o'clock at
9
night.
o'clock at night. So,
Nothing in between.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, it's not like they're playing outside to avoid the heat of the day, right?
Speaking of the heat of the day, the Sun defeated the Liberty
Oh.
82-63 in that ball game.
Hey.
So just for what that's
If I was in my other pad, I'd give you a ding on that one. Well done. Speaking of the Sun. So Atlanta and Vegas tonight at 9 on NBA TV, Indiana and Los Angeles 9:30. CBS Sports Network. That is your rundown on this Tuesday, day 2 at the SEC Media Days. Gentlemen, back across the table.
More from Vanderbilt coach Clark Lee, and we'll talk Commodores on the other side of the break, so stick around. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, and our coverage from SEC Media Days is brought to you by Shelter Insurance, Jim Pratt and Heather Clifton out in Dixon. We'll be right back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Don't forget, coming up later on the program on day 2 here, live from SEC Media Days on Main Street Sports. Today, we'll be joined by Michael Casagrande talking Alabama football. Nick Saban was in the house earlier, actually this morning, before we actually made our way over here. I guess we missed the crowd, because I sure didn't see one that I thought that I know that they have down in Birmingham when they had this. But also later on today, Neil Price talking Mississippi State, as the voice of the Bulldogs will be joining us around 3 o'clock Central. or a little before 3 o'clock today. So looking forward to hearing from him. And at 3:10 Central, or shortly thereafter, Ryan McGee, the other guy in Wham, will be joining us live right here at this table. So looking forward to that. And as our promo says with said Ryan McGee, you never know who may stop by because we've already experienced it in the first 2 days here. So it's going to be a fun day. So just put your seatbelt on, sit back, and relax.
That's what we're going to do. Except you might want to put your seatbelt on for some of Clark Lee's comments from the lectern this morning as, boy, the second-year head coach from Vanderbilt is certainly making some waves.
Settling in.
Yeah, clearly.
Let me just read it.
Just, you know what? We can't even set this up because it is so outlandish of a comment to make from a second-year coach. Especially, I mean.
But what else do you want him to say?
When I first saw it, I wanted to try to give it some context, and then I thought, you know what? No, let's just throw it out
there.
there.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, rip it off. Rip it off. We know in time Vanderbilt football will be the best program in the country.
The best program
let that
in
marinate.
the country.
Just let that marinate. We know in time Vanderbilt football will be the best program in the country. Now, obviously, my initial reaction, your initial reaction, the initial reaction of anybody that heard that statement was all the same thing. What? But, and I know JP is a Vanderbilt fan, and I'm not a Vanderbilt fan, but there's ways you can take that.
I didn't hear it, obviously, so I didn't see it in context or hear it in context. I think it also may determine what your definition of best program in the country is.
That's where I got to eventually as I considered this comment.
Yep.
When you say best program in the country, what does that entail?
Yep. Doesn't necessarily mean, I think,
that doesn't necessarily mean
win
14
every
and
year.
0.
Yeah.
Or win 1 year.
Yep.
Yeah, it's in, I think, different coaches, different observers are going to define that in different ways.
Yep.
And Clark Lee is probably going to define that in a different way than the other 13 coaches here this week.
I don't disagree with it. And eventually that is where I went to as well, is that when you're building a program, you're building something, it's the all-encompassing. It's the student-athlete. It is the facilities that you have. Now, I mean, obviously Vanderbilt's never going to have the facilities that Alabama has in Tuscaloosa. They're just not going to. One, because they don't have the space to build it. and two, I mean, that's just not what they're going to spend their money on. But they are investing.
Yes.
And they're investing in those student athletes. They're investing in that football program and other athletics programs. And I do think that eventually, when you consider the level of education that Vanderbilt provides on top of, if you can put a solid football program together where you win 7 to 10 ball games consistently every year, that I think would make them one of the premier programs in the country.
Well, and when you consider where they would be coming from,
sure.
What they have to work with, the limitations that they operate within, best program in the country probably means something different at Vanderbilt than it does in a lot of other places.
100%.
So,
yeah, and
I don't think this statement is as outlandish as it comes across initially.
And I think that's the genius of him having that because to some people that aren't going to think a whole lot about it, it's going to raise some eyebrows. It's going to make people talk about it. But it's also going to make those that are actually going to think about it, give it a second look, because people down in Louisiana, LSU fans probably don't care much about it. They're going, we talking about best program in the country. Was it Clark Lee said what? Okay, Vanderbilt. That's who that is. But from the Vanderbilt perspective, it's defining what they want people to define them as. And I like them setting their own definition for what that is. So I love it.
Two things.
Yep.
Clark Lee had the misfortune of following Nick Saban. Okay?
Good or bad, yeah.
And Clark Lee,
which makes that statement even more
Clark Lee
interesting.
made a statement that he knew would make people talk about Vanderbilt today instead of ignoring Vanderbilt to spend time on what Nick Saban had to say.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's the
folks
mark.
Are,
that's
folks
the
are still going to talk about what Nick Saban has to say.
Absolutely, but they were going to ignore Vanderbilt because they had something else to talk about. Clark Lee, let's give him something to talk about, Bonnie Raitt.
There you go, Bonnie.
And he did it.
I love
And
it.
I think that is the kind of thing that Clark Lee has to do at Vanderbilt. And
Very calculated.
It was a very calculated move, and I thought it was a fantastic way to make that happen. Now, it's not the only comments he had. He obviously wanted to talk about this upcoming season, and he did that. And, well, let's just send it to him and let him tell you about this upcoming year.
I think the challenges of building anything is just having the toughness in the early part of the journey to get the flywheel turning. You know, and you have to separate yourself a little bit from some of the sting of the results, and you maintain a focus on where you're headed. And you know, I think we've done that effectively. I mean, I feel like we're on course, and every day we have to fight for that course. And there are, you know, a lot of external entities that want to judge you for where you are, and we just have to keep a disciplined focus on where we're headed. But I see that as fun and exciting and like energizing to me. Like I don't like back away from that challenge. And you know, the funnest part of it is the reward that's going to come from seeing our players have success, and we will. And so certainly the challenge inherent in falling short, but gives you the opportunity to bounce back, respond, and define who you want to be moving forward.
Sending English professors all over the Vanderbilt campus into what's the word I'm looking for?
A tizzy?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yes, with funnest.
Yeah, the funnest.
The funnest. But you know, Vanderbilt might become in time the best program in the country, but right now ESPN FPI has their chances to win the SEC East at less than 0.1%.
Yeah.
They also have Florida as a 2% favorite, while Tennessee is at 1 and Kentucky at 6. And I still can't figure out. Billy Napier must have a lot more. Folks have a lot more confidence in Billy Napier than I do. I don't know.
Well, Billy Napier did a great job at Louisiana, but you know, unless they were really, really active in the portal, I don't know. No. Here,
that's not part of it, but still.
Well, is Georgia that much better than everybody else, though?
I mean, I think it's hard to say otherwise. I mean, look, Kentucky is number 2 in this.
With a 6% chance.
Yeah, and I don't feel like, you know, look, I heard this yesterday from somebody else, and this is all I'm going to say, because we're talking Vanderbilt here. But there's no reason that Tennessee can't be somewhat in the discussion to win the SEC East with a little help. I mean, they might need some help, but they're not just – they don't have a 1% chance.
No.
That is my opinion.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Vanderbilt, I thought it was – I think Clark Lee has made strides. I think the program and the athletics department under Candace Story-Lee has made significant strides.
I was having that discussion, you know, at lunch with a couple of folks that, you know, Candace Story-Lee, the new chancellor, Diermeyer, yeah, there are things going on at Vanderbilt that give you cause for optimism, I guess. Now, got to see some of it. But there are things being talked about. There are things in the works, supposedly, that make you feel better about where that program is. So,
No question there. All right, let's take a quick break, and I will try to find Michael Casagrande. I told him where we were, but I didn't tell him exactly because I didn't know exactly how to tell him. So we will.
We are at the corner of Rivalry Row and the HBCU exhibit.
There you go. I like it.
That's exactly where we are.
Yep.
So we will try to find him, and we'll talk a little Roll Tide, little Alabama football right after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joints. Stick around.
How do you measure success? In points? In wins? Or trophies? At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in our community support, in being there when you need us most. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see agents Jim Pratt or Heather Clifton in Dixon.
At Porter Brothers LLC, we look forward to discussing your plans, resolving concerns, and making improvements to the comfort, health, and efficiency of your home. With the right system operating at its best, you save money, better enjoy the living environment, and increase the value of your investment. We handle all makes and models for seasonal HVAC maintenance and repairs and offer free estimates on replacements. Call us today at 615-446-8067, 615-446-8067.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
As a two-term county commissioner, we built the County Justice Center and the Burns Middle School, all while maintaining a budget surplus. We were able to secure additional funding for all of the volunteer fire departments to get the vital equipment that they need to do their job. I fought on the front lines in Iraq. With your vote, I'll fight on the front lines in our community to give you a voice. Let's do this together.
Paid for by Jeff Eby for State Representative, District 69.
Area 51 Tech Solutions is focused on expert service with quality parts at an affordable price. Their passion is custom-built gaming desktop computers, virtual reality setups, and gadgets, but they also specialize in servicing and repairing all major brands of electronics, including computers, tablets, cell phones, HD TVs, and game consoles. Based in Dixon, they service Middle Tennessee from Clarksville to Murfreesboro and Portland to Columbia. Call them today at 615-379-8113 or visit area51techs.com.
When you think about buying a new or pre-owned car, you might immediately feel anxious about pushy sales staff and being forced into a decision that might not be the right one for you. Our team at Steve Jones Automotive in Dixon is nothing like that. We want to help you find the perfect car, not just the first car you test drive. When you visit our dealership, you'll also see the pricing up front without having to haggle or ask for a special discount. We want to earn your business for life. Come experience the progressive car buying experience with no pressure at Steve Jones Automotive in Dixon, Tennessee. Just a short drive from Nashville and the surrounding area.
Founded in 2005, Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, has a reputation of consistently offering the lowest possible rates and, above all, providing outstanding customer service. Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, takes pride in treating our clients with honesty and integrity. We provide excellent service and experience you can trust for all your mortgage needs, proudly serving all of Tennessee. Apply today. Call Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, 858-518-1506, or online at www.firstlendingonline.com.
NMLS number 314276, ID 135932. This segment brought to you by Larry Maynard, Allstate Insurance. As an Allstate agent in Gallatin, Larry Maynard knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in this community helps him provide customers with an outstanding level of service. Call 615-452-1500.
Welcome back in. It is Main Street Sports Station presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Our coverage here from SEC Media Days brought to you by Shelter Insurance, Jim Pratt and Heather Clifton, agents in Dixon. And we are now talking a little Alabama football. And to do that, we bring in the experts. That's what we do here. Bring in the experts. Guys who are living and breathing these teams each and every day, covering their beats as well as they can. And we talk to this guy's counterpart from the other end of the state quite often when we talk to Nebias Wilburn. But now we will bring in AL.com's Alabama beat writer, Michael Casagrande. Michael, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, just another day, another day at SEC Media Days. It's always fun.
It's fun, all right. There's no question about that, but it's also a little busy.
It is. Anytime Nick Saban starts off the day bright and early, it's always a busy day. It's always long. We'll be here all night.
And I guess when you come to SEC Football Media Days as an Alabama beat writer, you get used to ring hat guy and the other folks out there in the audience or in the foyer as folks are coming in and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't deal with that much anymore. I'm more in the room dealing with the interviews, but I know our video crew was out there. I'm sure it's well documented on AL.com, all the characters, whether we're in Hoover, whether we're in Atlanta. We'll be in Nashville one of these years. I think I'm sure that'll be back there too.
It is much different though here. I mean, you don't see the crowds like you do when it's at the Winfrey.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a little bit more dialed back, and it's not as right in home turf. People have to drive a little bit further if they want to be part of it. But yeah, I think it's a different environment. I don't mind it coming here. It's kind of a cleanses it cleanses the palate. You know, every year it can be the same thing over and over again in Hoover, and it can kind of feel like Groundhog Day. So it feels like it adds a little bit of new energy to things when it comes to Atlanta.
This certainly has been a fantastic venue, no doubt.
Michael, Alabama coming off of a rare national championship game loss. What is the mood? Has it changed? Does it? I mean, Nick Saban is so even-keeled, win, lose, otherwise. I mean, what's different about the run-up to the 22 season for Alabama?
Yeah, there's always they find a way to motivate themselves, whether they're coming off of a loss, which is sometimes easier to motivate yourselves, and sometimes I feel like Saban after a win is even more ornery, he's even more turned on to keep their mindset in the right place. I think it's easier to get their minds in the right place coming off of a loss because they feel the burn just as anyone else does, where it's harder to sometimes motivate after a win because they're feeling good. They're feeling like last year there was probably some bit of that where there was some comfortable. They were getting maybe too comfortable. The Florida game, then obviously the A&M game was a wake-up call. So the wake-up call came in January for this team, so they won't be feeling too comfortable walking into this season regardless of what their ranking will be.
Well, they now know how it feels to be, 2011 LSU, to win that SEC championship game or win the first matchup, get to the national championship and not be able to, to kind of close the deal. That's something that Nick Saban will absolutely be able to use for this team. And I have to feel like guys like, some of the senior leaders or the upperclassmen, they know they kind of police that for Nick Saban now, I'm sure.
Definitely. Will Anderson was a guy who you could tell was stepping into that role during the season last year, the way he spoke so publicly and openly with his dislike for the way some of the attitudes were after that Florida game and then after the A&M game. I think you saw a real change in the way some of the mindset was. And he was still just a sophomore, as a young guy the first half of his sophomore season, but he's clearly maturity-wise, a step above most seniors. He's built differently. He's a different kind of player, a different kind of person. He's the kind of guy you want to have on your team. He's the guy you want to cheer for as someone who's sitting in the crowd or on TV. So I think he really took over and made a big point to make his point to the locker room after that.
Well, and here's the thing. You kind of have to be a leader when folks are talking Heisman.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's any defensive player who's entered a season with a better a better chance at a better tailwind entering the season. Having an Aiden Hutchinson as the runner-up last year shows that the voters are not afraid to vote for a defensive player if they can take over a game. And I think it's clear if you watch enough of Alabama games to see just how much he impacts a play, any defensive series, whether he's getting to the quarterback or the amount of tension he draws from an offensive line.
Speaking with Michael Casagrande, the Alabama beat writer for AL.com here on Main Street Sports Today. You're talking about Will Anderson, and you mentioned Texas A&M, and as he spoke about that specific game coming up this year that a lot of folks seem to have circled. It's October 8th, by the way.
Tennessee LSU,
yeah.
Texas A&M Bama.
He said earlier, we approach every game the same. We know the history behind that game. We know what to expect. We know what type game that is going to be. We are just going to go out there and play Alabama football. I've never heard a player give such good coach speak.
Yeah, they were well prepared. They knew, there was no way. They know what the questions were going to be. They knew what the topics were going to be. There was no way that those guys were not caught off guard by any of these questions about A&M, about Jimbo and Nick Saban. So they knew what they were. They knew what they were going to say before they said it. So.
And it's funny because it really feels like they're told, kind of like your lawyer might say before you get on the stand, only answer the question that is asked.
Well, what's funny is I saw a comment from Greg Sankey, I guess yesterday morning, where he was instructing the coaches or coaching the coaches, answer the question you want to answer, not the question you've been asked, which it's almost like, why are we even having media day?
Why are we here then?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been asking Nick Saban questions for 13 years now, I guess, and he'll answer the question how he wants to. He'll give the answer he wants to give, whether it's the question I asked or not, and it's all part of the game.
It is part of the game, and is there anybody better at the game than Nick Saban?
No, he's as prepared as anybody. He knows what he's going to talk about. He's going to answer the questions how he wants to answer them, and he got plenty of them today, and he steers them where he wants to steer them, and I guess that's the relationship we have, is we can ask the questions and they can answer it how they want, and can't force them to say what we want them to say, so it's just
and they might answer your question and they might not.
They might not, and it's fine. I can't stand up and demand him to tell me what I want him to tell me. So
there's
a power dynamic involved, and we understand it.
You say you've been covering them for 13 years. How long did it take you to kind of get to that? Well, it is what it is.
It doesn't take too long. A few years before you ask a few questions where, sometimes it's just, you can just say, here's a topic, discuss. You don't even need to ask a question. You don't know. There's no point in forming a question. You can just say, NIL. Have at it.
Yeah, and that makes, for a guy like Nick Saban who is so prepared, that's something you can do for him.Maybe not necessarily every coach, but he can make that happen.
But there's a degree of, if you do ask a question, you better word it properly, because he does enjoy deconstructing a question and the word usage, and that's some of his favorite times is to deconstruct a sentence and tell you why it was flawed. So.
So what you're saying is, if ever there was a guy that you could say, talk about, this is your guy, right?
If you were to take that route, I take pride in not taking the talk about route. I'll craft a question, whether he wants to answer it or not. It's up to him.
It is easier. So this Alabama team, obviously offensively, you've a lot to replace. Bryce Young, though, is coming back. How does he follow up last year with all new weapons, it feels like?
It's an interesting question. It's one that I wish I could have had more opportunity to ask today, is just the number of skilled position players that you're having to replace, and that you're bringing in new guys, and the chemistry that is required of a quarterback and a receiver, and a quarterback and the running backs. When they're on different pages, it's very clear, and it doesn't work. It worked very well, clearly, with Jamison Williams last year coming in from Ohio State. And I think the expectation is, that has set a high bar for Burton coming in from Georgia, for Harrell coming in from Louisville, where people are going to expect them to be exactly like, just as productive as he was, as John Mechie was, clearly having a little bit more chemistry and time in the program with Bryce. But Jahmyr Gibbs from Georgia Tech, those are three major skill position players who are new to the mix and very talented, but how will the chemistry, how will it all work together is the eternal question that nobody will know until September.
There you go. This segment is brought to you by Allstate and Larry Maynard Agency. Just want to make sure that we thank Larry and his team as we're talking a little bit of Alabama football here with AL.com's Michael Casagrande. Michael, I want to again thank you for taking some time with us. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to having you on a little bit later in the season and see exactly how this all turned out.
Yeah, it's always it's all expectations. It's all potential at this point, regardless if it's Alabama, if it's Vanderbilt. We're all just talking about preseason expectations, and so it can go any number of directions. But I feel like Alabama feels pretty good about the bigger picture of where this team is headed.
Oh, there's no question. Well, some people at Alabama, whether they'll tell you or not, because most of them will not say that out loud or fear the spite of Nick Saban. But, Michael, thanks so much. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon.
Definitely.
Yeah, Mo, I think it's this is one of those seasons where we just kind of don't know what to expect from Alabama other than we expect them to be Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you expect that from one year to the next, regardless, as Michael was saying, of what happened to end the previous season. As long as Nick Saban is there, you expect them to be a team that's going to be playing for the SEC championship in December and playing for a national championship later that month. I mean, it's just the bar has been set.
It has, and as we talked about earlier, you have to meet those expectations, and they rarely fail to do so.
More often than not, they do.
So it's really impressive what they've been able to build over there, and I'm not sure that we've seen anything like this particular Alabama dynasty. Obviously, it's been going on for 13 years now.
Yeah.
I can't remember a decade-plus long dynasty like Alabama has really put together.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I was talking to a area high school athletics director about something completely unrelated, but I told him I was at the SEC Media Days, and so obviously that's the way that conversation went.
That's what the conversation was now related to.
Right. And, we're talking about upcoming scheduling and that kind of thing, and, some fans of some schools not wanting to have to play Alabama every year. And he said, we want to play them. I want to play them because just like they're on a run now, we've been on a run before. We're going to get on a run again, and I don't want that messed up by not being able to play them on a year-to-year basis. I mean, it feels crazy to say it right now, but Alabama's not always going to be Alabama. Nobody is.
Right. Even though this is the longest dynasty that we've probably ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's not going away for the next 4 or 5 years, if not longer.
It's not going away until Nick Saban leaves.
But you also have to remember, in these 13 years, there have been 3 other SEC teams win national championships.
Sure.
So it's not unprecedented for another SEC team to win. But, as Ric Flair famously said, to be the man,
you got to beat the man.
You got to beat the man. So
love it.
You might as well go through Tuscaloosa on your way.
Oh, Rick, he also said you got to walk that aisle, right?
That's right.
And
you got to walk it.
That aisle goes through Tuscaloosa right now.
Absolutely does. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, are you pointing it? Or are you just telling me to?
Well, no, I just want to thank again our sponsor. As an Allstate agent, Larry Maynard knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in his community really helps him provide customers with an outstanding level of service. All you got to do is give him a call, 615-452-1500. So just wanted to get that in before we got out.
All-Star game starting lineups are set. ready to go. We'll get to that briefly on the other side of the break. Stick around. Main Street Sports Today presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back to the College Football Hall of Fame and SEC Media Days after this.
How do you measure success? In points? In wins? Or trophies? At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in our community support, in being there when you need us most. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see agents Jim Pratt or Heather Clifton in Dixon.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Don't overpay for your next home entertainment system. Visit the folks that have been selling, installing, and repairing TVs, stereos, and more for the last 40 years. Denton's, the TV store in Dixon, has the largest selection of high-end TVs on display. Denton specializes in professionally designed unique TV, audio, and video systems for the whole house, man cave, or outdoor space. Stop by in the Dixon Plaza across from Kroger or call 615-446-2222. Denton's, the TV store. It's in the name.
At Redbird Realty, we are committed to providing you with the highest quality service in not only finding your cherished home, but also a wise investment. With over 27 years experience in the real estate industry, we offer high quality service and we treat our clients the way that we would like to be treated. When you're ready, we would appreciate the opportunity to learn more about your real estate needs and answer any questions you may have. Call us at 615-476-2879. 615-476-2879.
With 14 locations across Tennessee, family-owned Fast Stop Markets knows you need simple. The one-stop shop for fuel, food, and more now offers Fast Stop Perks, an easy-to-sign-up rewards program that turns your purchases into points that you can spend like cash. You can also win prizes, join clubs, and save big. Get your Fast Stop Perks card at checkout or download the Fast Stop Perks app to start earning your points today. Fast Stop Markets, keeping you moving.
C&K Forklift Repair understands that a non-working forklift puts a hold on your team's ability to do its job. Our certified technicians work quickly and efficiently 24 hours a day to repair and provide maintenance on your forklift using only high-quality replacement parts. With over 15 years experience, C&K Forklift Repair also provides training and instruction for forklift operators covering all of Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. Give us a call, 615-651-2735.
State Farm Agency Micah Blunt is proud to bring you live coverage from SEC Media Days. Micah was born and raised in Tennessee and takes pride in providing the highest degree of protection for all customers. State Farm offers auto, home, and life insurance at the price you can afford. Located in Dixon, Tennessee, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Give Micah and his team a call today to help with all of your insurance needs. Serving all of Tennessee, call 615-229-2999. That's 615-229-2999.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant across the table and on the controls, making sure everything is looking good, sounding good, and we hope that you guys are enjoying it. Our coverage of SEC Media Days, live from the College Football Hall of Fame here in Atlanta, Georgia, is brought to you by Jim Pratt and Heather Clifton, Shelter Insurance Agents in Dixon. Thank you to those guys and all of our sponsors, our fantastic sponsors, who have just really been so supportive in getting us to Atlanta and at this event. Man, it has been a fantastic time. I cannot overstate how cool it is to see some of the, the faces that we've seen, shake the hands that we've shaken. It's just been fun.
It really has. Speaking with some of the folks that we've been able to speak with that help, shape Southeastern Conference and college football as a whole. It's just been nice being in this venue, nice being in this environment and hanging out with some of these people.
No question. So we're going to step away from college football for just a moment as we have to talk about a little baseball. It's not necessarily the Braves today, but there are a lot of Braves involved as the All-Star Game is tonight, set for 7 p.m. Central Time on ESPN, the mothership. Starting lineups have been announced.
Starting lineups have been announced, yeah. For the AL, for Dusty Baker's American League All-Star, Shohei Ohtani leads off at DH. Aaron Judge batting second, playing right field from the Yankees. Red Sox third baseman Rafael Devers will play third and bat third. Vladdy batting cleanup, playing first base. Giancarlo Stanton batting fifth, playing left. Byron Buxton, he's going to be fun to watch, batting sixth, playing center field from the Twins. White Sox shortstop Tim Anderson hits seventh. Andres Jimenez from the Guardians will bat eighth and play second. And 5'8", 265-pound catcher Alejandro Kirk of the Toronto Blue Jays will bat ninth. Shohei Ohtani, he's not pitching, is he? Who's the starting? No, Shane McClanahan from the Tampa Bay Rays will be the starting pitcher for the American League.
On the National League side, this is where things get interesting, especially for us, is one, obviously Atlanta Braves right fielder Ronald Acuna Jr. Is going to lead off, and then you'll get Nashville native Mookie Betts playing center field, hitting second from the Dodgers. Manny Machado playing third, hitting third. Apparently that's
it's a thing.
That's a thing. And then Goldie, the first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, will hit cleanup for the National League All-Stars, followed by Trey Turner, and then the Contreras brothers will hit back-to-back, and that's got to be one of the coolest things in the history of baseball.
Wilson batting sixth and catching. William batting seventh and DHing, followed by ex-Brave Jock Peterson batting eighth and playing the left field from the Giants, and New York Mets second baseman Jeff McNeil batting ninth. Clayton Kershaw in his home park gets the nod on the mound. And, William Contreras, one of two Atlanta Braves catchers on the National League All-Star roster.
If both your team's catchers ain't on the All-Star team, don't talk to us.
Don't talk to us. We don't want to hear it. That's it. Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me. All right, Mo, tell us what happened this day in Braves history.
July 19th, 1924, the Boston Braves are held hitless for 7+ innings by St. Louis rookie Herman Bell, who eventually allows 2 hits in a complete game 6-1 Cardinals victory to open a doubleheader. In Game 2, Bell takes a no-hitter into the 5th and gives up 4, going the distance in a 2-1 victory. Rookie Herman Bell of St. Louis won both ends of a doubleheader, giving up 6 total hits in 18 innings.
Is that good?
That's pretty good.
That seems good.
It seems good, yeah.
A guy named Herman Bell once played offensive specialist for the Birmingham Steel Dogs, but I don't think it was the same guy.
I don't think it was the same guy, and clearly he was not a pitcher.
No, he was not. No, he was not. All right, when we come back, we have the voice of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, Neil Price, will join us. So stick around on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Mopat and JP Plant here at the College Football Hall of Fame, live from SEC Media Days, brought to you by Shelter Insurance and Jim Pratt and Heather Clifton. Fantastic folks, making sure you are taken well care of in the insurance industry. Coming up, we have the voice of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, Neil Price, and he'll talk a little bit about those Bulldogs, JP. But before we do that, we got to tell you about our friends at Tennessee Hardware.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Hang on one second. Multiple things here.
You forgot about that.
Well, I just didn't forget. We got, and it's on there, we got Tennessee Hardware. Yes, family-owned Ace store serving Sumner County, Tennessee for, how about this, guys, 45 years. Tennessee Hardware, our sponsor of Mississippi State down here at SEC Media Days. So there
we
you go.
Appreciate Tennessee Hardware, Ace Hardware, of course. And looking forward to talking to Neil Price as we welcome him in. Mr. Voice of the Bulldogs, what's going on, sir?
We're sitting here in Starkville reading and watching all this reaction from day 2 of SEC Media Day. And, you know, just judging by what it sounds like where you guys are, I'm assuming on Radio Row there in Atlanta, you got quite a few people who are interested in what's going on day 2 as well.
There's a pretty good bunch of folks here, Neil. Don't you wish you were here now?
You know, I told JP when he called me, he said, "You're not here." And I said, "No, I've never gone to it." And, yeah, it's funny, Bob Kessler and I were talking about earlier today. Bob told me he hadn't been once since he was at WBIR, so close to 25 years ago now. And, you know, it probably doesn't benefit somebody like me just because by the time that I get to a point where I would use any of it, it's, you know, well over a month and a half old because I won't be on the air until the Thursday before football game. So, you know, that's what camp kind of is good for us. And, you know, we'll go out in August and be around the players, be around the coaches. And, we'll get most of what we need heading into the season from that. But for people who have to do shows every day, for folks who are writing newspaper columns every day, and you're at a point in the year where there's not a lot going on with relation to college sports, I think it's great because it gives you access to the coaches, some of the players, and you've got some really entertaining stuff for what you're putting out, but also social media and every other way that people are consuming media today.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mean, obviously for folks who are involved in this at the school level, it's a little different. And, you know, for us, again, we've heard this phrase so much this week. It's talking season, and that's what we're doing. We're just talking at this point, but there are few people more entertaining to talk to or to hear from than Mike Leach. And, of course, he was on the stage earlier today behind the lectern, and, you know, as always, fun and entertaining. And I'm just curious what that's like for you as someone who has to talk to him each and every week on a radio show or whatever, or for a pregame broadcast. What is he like? Is this normal?
What you see is what you get. Yeah, that's a very accurate representation of who he is. I've never worked with anyone quite like him. And if I do this another 25 years, I don't think I'll ever work with anyone like him again. I really don't. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, he just is a truly unique individual, especially when you hold him up against other college coaches. Because so much of what college coaches do today is geared to recruiting. And I'm sure you guys have seen it in Atlanta. There have been tweets about a certain coach's socks, a certain coach's shoes. All of it is to generate interest with 16 to 18-year-olds that are looking for a place to play college football. And Mike Leach is kind of the antithesis of that. He showed up in his plain khakis today and his sport coat and walked up, and I don't do opening statements because somebody's just going to ask me a question about something I probably already answered if I would have done one, and you're going to ask me what you want to know anyway. Just go ahead and ask, and I'll go ahead and answer. You know, I mean,
I love that.
I love it. I think he is incredibly refreshing in a day and age where we have an abundance of coach speak. He is not that guy, and I love him for it.
Certainly does not engage in coach speak, does Mike Leach. Neil Price, voice of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, joining us here on Main Street Sports today. And you talk about Mike Leach, you have to talk about his uniqueness, but you also have to talk about his offensive approach and the attack. How do you see that unit improving for Mississippi State this time around with Will Rogers at quarterback?
Well, I think that it would be fair to say the expectation for the group is as high this year as it's been at any point since Coach Leach has been here. So this is year 3. They have some experience now. They have some depth that they did not have. And they have a quarterback that has played a lot of football and has played it within the confines or the context of the air raid. So I think all those things are incredibly positive. The biggest question marks are how are they going to look at the 2 tackle spots? Charles Cross was the left tackle the last couple of years here. Of course, he got a big payday and is in the NFL now. And you're going to have a brand new guy who's the blindside protector for Will. So that how quickly that position comes along, I think will dictate how much success they have. But at the skill spots, they've got experience and depth. Will certainly has a great understanding of the offense, and if they can just protect him, you'd like to think that this year they could take a really, really big step in terms of moving the football and putting points on it.
You know, you talk about the offensive approach, the air raid that Mike Leach has pretty well employed everywhere he's been, and you talk about his uniqueness. He responded to one question this morning saying it's always been a game, but football has always been a game of execution. There's not a lot of roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, who you ambush, fool the other guy, then you walk away laughing like Muttley after the rock fell on the guy or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I guarantee you no other coach at Southeastern football media days is going to be referring to two different cartoons in the response to their question.
We did a whole segment at the end of a radio show last season. I needed to fill 3 minutes, and I'd ask every football question I had for the week. And I said, Coach, I got two buddies that I went to high school with who sent me this tweet, and they said this would be a great question, so I'm going to ask it. Is Foghorn Leghorn the most underrated Looney Tunes character? And I got a 3-minute dissertation on why that's absolutely true, and also why Porky Pig had a bad gimmick and wasn't better or wasn't good enough to do anything other than end the cartoon because he had been typecast. And I forget what else, but it was just wonderful. I mean, you know, but that's him. And the thing is, you know, this is a highly educated guy. He's got a Pepperdine law degree, graduated from BYU. Just so happens he wanted to apply all that knowledge to coaching football. And to your point about what he said with regard to execution, everybody makes a big deal out of here's Mike Leach standing on the sideline during the game with this index card in his hand, and he might have 8 to 10 plays written on that index card, and that is the game plan. Well, if you can execute those 8 to 10 plays based on where the coaching staff believes the space is going to be in an opposing defense, you don't need anything other than that. If you can't execute those 8 to 10, it can turn into a long day. So he's absolutely right with regard to football being a game of execution. And trust me, they work on it over and over. And to watch them practice is really impressive because it is repetition, and how do we get, you know, laser focus on what we need to do in this particular set of plays to go out and have success.
Perfect practice makes perfect,
There you
they
go.
say.
There you go.
That's it.
Hey,
That's it.
Neil Price, our guest here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Neil, before we let you get out of here, you know, with the success that the state of Mississippi has had, baseball, last two national champions, you know, Mike Leach seems to be kind of flying under the radar as much as Mike Leach can, Neil. I mean, we just talked about his idiosyncrasies that are a joy for you, obviously, to follow. But Lane Kiffin, I'm sure a lot of people still have him maybe known a little bit better. But, you know, under the radar for the Mississippi State Bulldogs, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, and I think it's just who they've always been. You know, I mean, I did an interview earlier today, and I said when the media poll comes out at the end of the week or at the end of media day, I guess it comes out at the end. It may be out already. I will not be shocked if State's not picked to finish last in their division because that's just how people view them. But I also think the players here and the coaches here embrace that underdog mentality. You've got to be a little bit tougher, a little bit leaner, and a little bit meaner to be able to come here and be competitive. And I think that Coach Leach is the perfect guy for this because with him, it's not so much about NIL or any of the other outside factors that we're talking about in college football or college sports today. It's who do we have and what do we need to do to get the most out of them every day. And if you want to be here and give maximum effort and be the best you can be, then they're going to coach you and they're going to help you. And you could be supremely talented and have all kinds of gifts that are God-given, and you may not choose to come out and use those every day, and they'll go, well, this isn't the place for you. And I think, again, he'll coach you hard. He'll do all those things, and he's very old school despite this kind of, I don't know how you would describe him terms of the personality or any of that, but to be so unique in that way, he is still at his core a very old school football coach.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Neil, I really appreciate you doing this, hanging out with us today.
Hey, glad to do it. Hi to all the folks in southern Middle Tennessee. Good to hear familiar voices again, too, and hope everybody back up that way is doing well.
There you go, a true Blue Raider right there, but with the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Neil Price, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All righty, there you go. By the way, our Mississippi State segment today brought to you by Tennessee Hardware, opened in 1977. It's been family-owned and operated for over 45 years, quite a long time. They strive to be your helpful hardware place, getting our Mississippi State sponsor for today. Chris?
JP,
yes?
We might as well just do it. We're not going to take a break, but we're going to take a break because we need to. We have a special guest,
little bridge,
who is sitting down at the table, and maybe Dick Break might tell you who he is.
Okay. All right. We'll do that right now.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best-looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
Ryan McGee, we appreciate you gracing our airwaves each and every day on that promo.
I didn't realize I was in the promo. That's
You're
awesome.
in the promo.
That's my line, man. Everybody, I use that line again somewhere where I made sure Marty could hear it.
There you go.
Yeah, and the other guy in Wham had a great gig, man. He's still living in some castle in Scotland with the girl from Bananarama. So I'll take the other guy in Wham all day.
Every day.
That's right.
Pleased to be joined by ESPN's Ryan McGee, talking a little college football. But I will tell you, NASCAR this past weekend was a lot of fun, too.
It was. In fact, they just made an announcement about 45 minutes ago that they're going to run a street course race in Chicago next year. And, in fact, NASCAR called, and they were like, hey, we're doing this press conference in Chicago. We're going to be flying a plane from Charlotte with some media on it. Do you want to be on it? I can't. I'm like, why not? I'm like, well, I'm going to be interviewing Nick Saban. So sorry.
Sorry.
No offense. Yeah, but yeah, no. NASCAR,
so now we know. Nick Saban,
rolling.
NASCAR.
Yeah, NASCAR's rolling right now, man. The ratings are way up, and my friends at NBC I was talking to Dale Jr. the other day. They've started doing the races, and I like that new car, and we got 14 winners and
crazy.
Yeah, we're totally gonna have a winner that's not gonna make the playoff, and I'm a sports writer, man. I'm all for pain. I'm all for everybody being miserable, and
Captain Chaos over there.
Pain over here, chaos over here. Yeah. Somebody's gonna win a race and not make the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's.
I'm in, man. Yeah, I'm all for
this
it.
Is why this is making.
They
this
print
is
T-shirts. They print T-shirts with those guys' faces on it. So to me, that's why I say to these coaches all the time. I hope you have a bad year because you're making $9 million. You can. I'm going to write about it. Yeah.
Well, and a bad year for you. You're still making $9 million.
Yeah.
So,
bad year for you. You're still making $9 million. I have a bad year. I ain't making that. So
I ain't making that if I have a good year.
That's right.
Absolutely. Ryan McGee from ESPN and the SEC Network joining us here on Main Street Sports Today. Ryan, how's it been this week?
It's been great. If I'm being 100% honest with you, yesterday I wasn't quite ready. Like, I was on the beach 3 days ago.
I saw that.
I came straight here, and it was like, I remember telling my wife, I live in Charlotte. I drove down from Charlotte. Sunday night I'm driving down. I told my wife, I said, I'm not there yet. Like, it's, y'all know the deal. As you get older, the off seasons get shorter and shorter. Yeah, it's just, and I felt like I was in Omaha about an hour ago, which is great. But I could have used maybe another couple of days off. But today I'm in. Today I was. But yesterday I wasn't quite there. But today I've had a great day. And I love being here. Like no offense to Hoover. I've spent
As he looks at me, the Alabama guy.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time at the Galleria. I'm so romantic. I took my wife down there one year for SEC Media Days. But this
only once, right?
Yeah.
You only make that mistake one time.
But she only made that mistake one time.
I remember. So my daughter, my wife's like, "Hey, great news! I got my daughter's going to camp. She'll be going this week." I go, "It's the 1 week, not to send her to camp." So I'm like, "Well, you're coming with me to Hoover." So that was our romance. Was there at the Galleria. But I love being in this building because I think I was telling the guys from the SEC. It elevates it a little bit. I just love you guys love the history of the sport. I just love being here in the middle of all this, and it's just I just think the atmosphere is awesome, and I just wander around. I just wander around all day, just looking at every display case.
I've said it more than once. If you are a conference that could hold your football media day here, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, do it. Absolutely do it. Yeah, no, it's just the whole atmosphere. I mean, what they've done with this area downtown Atlanta. It's just, I go look at the whales and, I go drink the weird Coca-Cola from Asia. I do the whole thing when I'm here.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about this. And again, no offense to Hoover, Alabama folks, but when you're in the ballroom at Hoover, it's a ballroom. It's very dark and dim. And here, everything just seems lively. Everything seems exciting. This is an exciting time for Southeastern Conference football, obviously with Texas and Oklahoma on the horizon. This is the kind of event that really sets the Southeastern Conference apart from everybody else because as we were talking to someone yesterday, when was the Big 12 Media Day? Well, it was last week. Oh, we didn't know.
Yeah, well, and I say this, John Swofford, who was the commissioner of the ACC forever, and I grew up in the Carolinas, so I grew up on Tobacco Road. I've known Swofford since I was a kid. And when he was retiring, he said to me, he goes, "Well, Ryan, what's the one thing that you would do different if you were the commissioner of the ACC?" I go, "I'd move your freaking media days because their media days are happening in Charlotte and no one has any idea." I go, "No offense." I go, "But I live 5 miles from where they're doing media days. I'm not going to go." And so just everybody should stagger it out. Let me I love having it in Charlotte, but I'm not going to, no offense to, Dave Doran and NC State, but I'm probably going to stay here and interview Jimbo, so it's, but anyhow, but the point is that I think every conference should get a showcase. But there is nothing better than this, and it's not a bad idea, Patton, to come here and have everybody do their deal here. But I just love being in this building.
ACC's media day, by the way, are tomorrow and Thursday in Charlotte.
Yeah. So it's just okay.
Bad choice.
The only ones that decided to try to make us make a choice, and I just think that's a disservice. But it didn't. The ACC's not great at great decisions right now, anyway. So.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Ryan, here's the thing. You guys have been stacked on stacked on stacked, and you got to go now.
Right.
But is this just crazy for you to think about where you've come to in your career?
Yeah, it's just. My wife and I were at the beach last week, just the two of us, and I said that to her sitting on the beach. I said, I still can't believe, I'm on the beach reading my Athlon, right, my Lindy's and my Phil Steele, and I'm like, I still can't believe.
Romantic.
Yeah, again, yeah. You reading romance novels? No, I'm reading Phil Steele. I don't know what I'm even reading, but I'm reading it. But
Danielle Steele, Phil Steele.
Yeah, that's it. I'm stealing that line.
We'll hear that Saturday morning.
But we're all fortunate. When I was a kid and my dad was refereeing college football and got my first credentials from me when I was 12. I went to North Carolina Virginia game and I was standing on the sideline. I remember looking around and all the reporters and the photographers and the TV reporters. I was like, they're all getting paid to be here today. How do you do that? And somehow, don't tell anybody, but we figured out how to do that.
We figured it out.
And they're still doing it. So don't tell anybody. Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're still paying us to be here.
I got all my neighbors. They work at the bank, and no offense to them, I don't want to do that.
I hear you. Yeah. Ryan McGee, ESPN's Marty McGee. You can catch him on Saturday morning. Just turn your TV on Saturday morning. They'll be on whenever you do that.
We're on a lot, and it's a good time. But again, Marty and I get done with the show on Saturday morning. We walk out in the parking lot. We look at each other, and he goes, "I can't believe they let us do that." I go, "Get the truck and get out of here before they cancel us."
before they stop us.
Yeah.
We appreciate your time as always.
Y'all the best, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.
Oh, man, we're going to take a quick break, and I say quick. It'll be a lot longer than the last break we just took.
Oh, yeah.
But When we come back, it is our top 5 Tuesday, and we have what else besides SEC storied. We did sports documentaries a while back.
And we held off on this.
When I said, heck, all of them are SEC stories.
Yeah.
It worked out. And you
Why
guys
not?
were like, I didn't even really think about those. So perfect timing. We're going to give you our top 5 SEC story documentaries. It's going to be a fantastic.
We may not stop at 5.
I mean, we could just read them off, and this is my top 30. Here's all of them. But seriously, so looking forward to it. We'll be right back after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint from the College Football Hall of Fame, SEC Media Days. Thanks to Shelter Insurance, Jim Pratt and Heather Clifton for that. Stick around.
How do you measure success? In points? In wins? Or trophies? At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in our community support, in being there when you need us most. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see agents Jim Pratt or Heather Clifton in Dixon.
At Porter Brothers LLC, we look forward to discussing your plans, resolving concerns, and making improvements to the comfort, health, and efficiency of your home. With the right system operating at its best, you save money, better enjoy the living environment, and increase the value of your investment. We handle all makes and models for seasonal HVAC maintenance and repairs and offer free estimates on replacements. Call us today at 615-446-8067. 615-446-8067.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
As a 2-term county commissioner, we built the County Justice Center and the Burns Middle School, all while maintaining a budget surplus. We were able to secure additional funding for all of the volunteer fire departments to get the vital equipment that they need to do their job. I fought on the front lines in Iraq. With your vote, I'll fight on the front lines in our community to give you a voice. Let's do this together.
Paid for by Jeff Eby for State Representative, District 69.
Area 51 Tech Solutions is focused on expert service with quality parts at an affordable price. Their passion is custom-built gaming desktop computers, virtual reality setups, and gadgets, but they also specialize in servicing and repairing all major brands of electronics, including computers, tablets, cell phones, HD TVs, and game consoles. Based in Dixon, they service Middle Tennessee from Clarksville to Murfreesboro and Portland to Columbia. Call them today at 615-379-8113 or visit area51techs.com.
When you think about buying a new or pre-owned car, you might immediately feel anxious about pushy sales staff and being forced into a decision that might not be the right one for you. Our team at Steve Jones Automotive in Dixon is nothing like that. We want to help you find the perfect car, not just the first car you test drive. When you visit our dealership, you'll also see the pricing up front without having to haggle or ask for a special discount. We want to earn your business for life. Come experience the progressive car buying experience with no pressure at Steve Jones Automotive in Dixon, Tennessee. Just a short drive from Nashville and the surrounding area.
Founded in 2005, Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, has a reputation of consistently offering the lowest possible rates and, above all, providing outstanding customer service. Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, takes pride in treating our clients with honesty and integrity. We provide excellent service and experience you can trust for all your mortgage needs, proudly serving all of Tennessee. Apply today. Call Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, 858-518-1506, or online at www.firstlendingonline.com.
NMLS number 314276, ID 135932. that guy would shut up at the end of that commercial so we could get back.
You're in a hurry, aren't you?
Yeah, welcome back. Main Street Sports Today, a day 2 of day 4 here at the College Football Hall of Fame. So we'll be back tomorrow and Thursday, and then a very special episode on Friday as we've been able – there's so many people here, guys, and you talked about it, that we've been able to see as they come through. Mo has some connections like, hey, I can get you this. Yes. I can get you this. Yes. I can get you this. Yes. And it's been a lot of fun.
If they want to talk to us,
absolutely,
man, we want to talk to them.
Point being is there have been so many that we can't fit into our daily shows, so we're going to take those and air those on Friday. So it'll be basically an extended version on Friday. So looking forward to that. But we've been waiting on this Top 5 Tuesday, guys, for what, 2 months?
It's not been quite that long.
Close
it's
to
been
it.
a pretty good while.
Yeah, it's been a long
close,
time.
Yeah. And I will tell you, this top 5 is going to be really fun because I think obviously there are 40 SEC stories, by the way. There are 40 of them.
Okay.
And we're going to have a lot that are the same. They're probably going to be in different orders. But we could literally just read all 40 of these and say, go watch them. And you should.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Every SEC story. If you are a fan of the Southeastern Conference, and it doesn't matter if you're a fan of football, basketball, swimming, bowling. I mean, the last one that they did was about the Vanderbilt bowling team that won the national championship. That's
which I have not seen
It is a
yet.
fantastic story because it's the only national championship they have. And I hate saying
It's the only
that
bowling
because,
national championship they have.
But yeah, but I
You
mean,
talking about
I'm
the
talking
pro-
in the SEC. It's the only. It's the only bowling.
It's the
national
SEC's
only
only
bowling national championship, and that's really cool to me.
There you go. Okay.
And they go from walk-ons to national champions. It's freaking cool. So anyway, we get into it now as we get into the top 5, which is brought to you by Mid-South 5 Fitness. Thalla's still in the gang. Always doing a great job. It's steelathletes.com, STEEL athletes.com.
We ran into Thallas last week out at a local eatery.
Well,
to be named.
I ran into him before that at the Mule House when he was there to receive his certificate for being a finalist for local trainer, personal trainer.
As did I.
In Murray County. So that was.
I was there too.
Well, I know, but
then we ran into him again later that same day.
I didn't know if you saw him or not because you mentioned the restaurant. I was like,
well, I thought the restaurant was more ironic, with the best personal trainer or one of the top 3.
Best personal trainer and steelathletes.com, and then trust us. Yeah. If he was eating like us, he was going to need to take his own
train.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Anyway, here we go. Our top 5 SEC stories. I'm going to start. I'll give you my number 5. My number 5 is from the Plains, Bo Barkley and the Big Hurt. The fact that those 3 were at Auburn at the same time is just insane.
It is insane.
And it's a great story. If you haven't seen it, definitely should.
That was on my honorable mention, so I'm glad it was your number 5. Do you have 5, JP?
I've got a bunch. Trying to decipher the top 5 is going to be the interesting challenge.
Okay, well,
but we'll get through it.
I'll let you whittle down a little bit. My number 5 is Shaq and Dale. LSU's Shaquille O'Neal and Dale Brown and the relationship that they had before Shaq got to Baton Rouge, once he was there, and since he left, basically. It's really a fun watch.
Yep. I'll go number 5 with Thunder and Lightning. We had Neil Price, Mississippi State voice, and this about, of course, 2 fantastic Mississippi State players at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Will Clark
and
Rafael
Palmeiro.
Part of that great, what was it, 81 Mississippi State
Something
team?
like that.
Yeah. Bobby Thigpen was on that team as well. They were loaded.
They were loaded.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Number 4. Give me all the orange, Book of Manning.
Okay.
Of course, that obviously includes all of the other Mannings.
Yeah.
And, learning Cooper's story was probably my favorite part of that documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get to see what might have been.
We'll see if there's an addendum to the Book of Manning.
I think there will be.
Yeah. My number 4 is the walk-off, and totally no connection between. I'm not an LSU fan or anything like that necessarily, but the story behind Warren Morris's home run to win the 96 College World Series for LSU. And I think that one resonated with me because I was actually watching the ball game. So
makes sense.
Yeah, it was really cool. And got to cover Warren Morris later in his career when he played for the Nashville Sounds. So
there you go.
There's my number 4.
All right, I like that. Number 4, for me, because I didn't get to see this at all, and I'm fascinated by just how great Pete Maravich was. The Maravich story, I think it's just called Maravich.
Mm-hmm.
But just what he could do was phenomenal, and it's hard to believe that somebody was like that because we've never seen anybody remotely close to what he could do and the style with which he did it. So I think that was a fascinating thing for me.
He was really ahead of his time, it seems like.
No question there.
Yeah.
Had there been a
Still is
three-point
ahead of
line-
his time because, like I said, nobody else is.
I mean, had there been a three-point
Oh, my
line,
goodness.
Oh.
wouldn't have been, wouldn't even be no record.
That's right.
Yeah.
they just all say Pete.
Yep, that's it. All your records belong to Pete. Yeah.
I'm going to go into my number 3 here, and this one kind of cool. I learned of this story in the early 2000s. I was, mid-teens, and Eric Oliver, who played defensive back for Ole Miss, was given number 46. And so when he was given Chucky Mullen's number, 38.
Yes.
He was 46. He moved. He got 38.
Okay.
He earned 38 for Chucky Mullins, and so when I watched this story, and now it's a big deal, and you see it, and you're like, wow, that's really cool. So it's time.
Mm-hmm.
The story of Brad Gaines and Chucky Mullins is my number 3.
My number 3, in keeping with our Mississippi State theme today.
Okay.
Croom.
Yeah.
Story of Sylvester Croom, the former Alabama offensive lineman who became the first African-American football coach in SEC football history. And you've heard me say on this show that there are different people that I could just listen to talk.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys, man.
Yep.
He's just got one of those voices and a presence that just kind of makes you stop what you're doing and pay attention. And a super guy.
Yeah, it certainly commands a room when he speaks. You're right. It's a unique voice. It's a unique style.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, the context in what he says is just out of this world.
Yeah.
And really hits home to a lot of things. So
Number 3?
Number 3, one already mentioned, the Book of Manning. Kind of hard to do one of these without maybe mentioning that, but it is fascinating how that much talent in one family.
Mm-hmm.
So
Number 2, I'm going to go with The Color Orange.
a good one.
Conrad Holloway, yeah. And obviously, I wasn't born, whatever. I wasn't a Tennessee fan until I was 10. But when you become a fan of a team after you've been a fan of a different team, you kind of have to go back and understand the history of your favorite teams, where they come from. What are the positives? What are their traditions? And I never really knew the Conrad Holloway story. I knew who he was, and I knew that those teams were really fantastic back then, but I didn't know anything really about him. So that taught me a lot about the University of Tennessee, the Tennessee traditions, the history, and I love that. It was a great one.
I don't really have a number 2. I've kind of got a 1 and a 1A.
You got to pick one.
Yeah, well, and in this position, I'm going to mention 40 Minutes of Hell.
I thought that would be on your list because I know that you were in the thick of SEC back then.
That was a little bit before I got on the scene, but that 1994 Arkansas team and Nolan Richardson and those guys in their style of play and the way they went about things was just, it was so magnetizing at that time, I think, and just a lot of respect for Coach Richardson.
A completely different way of playing college basketball at that point.
Yeah, no doubt. No, and I mean, the title just kind of said it all. You were going to know that you had played them, whether they won or didn't, and they didn't lose a whole lot.
No, they didn't.
But just that's a great documentary there, I think.
Well, you talk about having buy-in, something that wasn't normal to get that kind of stamina that his players had. You know how much running they had to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But the payoff was well worth it.
No, exactly.
Got the national title. All right, my number 2, Miracle on the Plains. The 2006, I think it was, Auburn story of the different games that they won on the last.
That was
14, whenever it was. Hang on a second.
2012 or what?
I think it was
12 or 14.
I just lost the year it was, but
I think it was 14 when
Tumors,
Nick Marshall was the quarterback.
Yeah, the trees on Tumors Corner had been uprooted and poisoned, and so they had the rebirth of that. They had the game against Georgia, and then they had the kick 6.
So, do you remember
all of that in the same year? The Miracle on the Plains.
And
so.
I don't know if this was part of that story or not, but so the guy who Auburn threw a pass right before the final play against Georgia, and the guy who caught it was hit and was knocked out of bounds, but he didn't get a foot down, so he got knocked out, like he was unconscious.
Oh, wow.
He was getting checked out by the trainer.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the middle of the throw, the trainer, when dude caught it and scored, took off. Running down the sideline. Just left him. He was like, wait, where are you going? I heard this on a show the other day, and I was like, that is freaking hilarious.
It's like that Alabama player that came off the sidelines and tackled somebody, I think TCU, yeah.
Years and
too much
Bama in me.
Too much Bama. So he said, look, he came back and they took good care of me, but I was very confused for a second. Like, where are you going? Anyway,
number 1.
All right, well, my number 1, you'll find out right after this when we come back on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint to the College Football Hall of Fame and SEC Media Days.
Little rope-a-dope for Mo.
Yeah, that was my Howie Mandel impression.
I like it.
How do you measure success? In points? In wins? Or trophies? At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in our community support, in being there when you need us most. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see agents Jim Pratt or Heather Clifton in Dixon.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Don't overpay for your next home entertainment system. Visit the folks that have been selling, installing, and repairing TVs, stereos, and more for the last 40 years. Denton's, the TV store in Dixon, has the largest selection of high-end TVs on display. Denton specializes in professionally designed, unique TV, audio, and video systems for the whole house, man cave, or outdoor space. Stop by in the Dixon Plaza across from Kroger or call 615-446-2222. Denton's, the TV store. It's in the name.
At Redbird Realty, we are committed to providing you with the highest quality service and not only finding your cherished home, but also a wise investment. With over 27 years experience in the real estate industry, we offer high quality service and we treat our clients the way that we would like to be treated. When you're ready, we would appreciate the opportunity to learn more about your real estate needs and answer any questions you may have. Call us at 615-476-2879. 615-476-2879.
With 14 locations across Tennessee, family-owned Fast Stop Markets knows you need simple. The one-stop shop for fuel, food, and more now offers Fast Stop Perks, an easy-to-sign-up rewards program that turns your purchases into points that you can spend like cash. You can also win prizes, join clubs, and save big. Get your Fast Stop Perks card at checkout or download the Fast Stop Perks app to start earning your points today. Fast Stop Markets, keeping you moving.
C&K Forklift Repair understands that a non-working forklift puts a hold on your team's ability to do its job. Our certified technicians work quickly and efficiently 24 hours a day to repair and provide maintenance on your forklift using only high-quality replacement parts. With over 15 years experience, C&K Forklift Repair also provides training and instruction for forklift operators covering all of Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. Give us a call, 615-651-2735.
State Farm Agency Micah Blunt is proud to bring you live coverage from SEC Media Days. Micah was born and raised in Tennessee and takes pride in providing the highest degree of protection for all customers. State Farm offers auto, home, and life insurance at the price you can afford. Located in Dixon, Tennessee, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Give Micah and his team a call today to help with all of your insurance needs. Serving all of Tennessee, call 615-229-2999. That's 615-229-2999.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our OrthoQuick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in the final segment of this Tuesday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. We are still here at the College Football Hall of Fame, as you can see behind us. It's pretty great. And we appreciate Shelter Insurance, Jim Pratt, and Heather Clifton for making sure that that is possible, along with all of our other sponsors. Thank you all for getting us here. And now, finally,
should we recap?
We can recap.
Let's recap 2 through 5 for each of us. How's
all
that?
right, my number 5. We'll go 5 through 2. Bo Barkley and the Big Hurt, Book of Manning. It's Time, the story of Brad Gaines and Chucky Mullins, and the Color Orange, Conrad Holloway story.
Okay. 5, Shaq and Dale. 4, the walk-off, Warren Morris at LSU. 3, Kroom. And 2, 40 Minutes of Hell.
All right, and for me, 5 was Thunder and Lightning. Number 4, Maravich. 3, The Book of Manning. 2, Miracles on the Plains.
And now, number 1, SEC story documentaries. I'm going with the first thing I remember about college football, the 1992 SEC championship game, the Bowl Coalition, and all of the things surrounding Roy Kramer's decision. And now, of course, the play that changed college football.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Gotta beat it.
My number 1. When I was growing up, I lived around the corner from a guy who played defensive back at the University of Tennessee. One weekend, he brought Condredge Holloway home.
Oh, wow.
I had a chance to remind Condredge Holloway when I was covering UT that I had met him about 20 years earlier, and he remembered the meeting, not me, but coming to Franklin one weekend.
Yeah.
The color orange is my number one.
All right. Well done. All right. My number one happened right here in this city. Actually happened just a few blocks from here. Miracle 3, the story of the tornado and the SEC men's basketball tournament, and two other miracles that happened throughout all of that. Just one of the most fascinating stories of how all that played out. So.
Well, and it all started with the Miracle 3. Michael Riley of Alabama hits a 3 to force overtime against.
Keep everybody in the building.
Yeah.
That's Miracle 1. You're right.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
It's pretty crazy.
That was a great one.
Yeah. Sounded like a train.
So we're going to close this out with a little bit of Mike Leach. Mike Leach is apparently holding out of his Netflix recommendations to Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner. Apparently, he won't tell Greg his Netflix recommendations, but also, if you're going to hold out Netflix recommendations, that's fine. But if you are an expert on the best barbecue in town, as Greg Sankey says Mike Leach is, and you hold out on that, we got a problem.
That's not good. That's not good.
You don't want to tell me your Netflix, that's fine. But you better tell me where the good barbecue is.
You got to share your barbecue. Come on now. That ain't right.
We would never not tell somebody about Schaefer's.
No. Not never.
Folks, that's going to do it for our Tuesday show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It's going to be a phenomenal day on Wednesday and Thursday, so please come back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. George Plaster stands behind us, and he's getting ready to sit down in the same seats we're in. And when he does, you'll need to find him, The Plaster Show, on Twitter. You'll also want to find him on Facebook and YouTube. So appreciate you guys again hanging out with us from the College Football Hall of Fame and SEC Media Days. Thanks to Shelter Insurance, Jim Pratt and Heather Clifton. And, of course, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. For JP and Mo, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Main Street Media, live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, is presented by Shelter Insurance of Dixon and Jim Pratt and Heather Clifton. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter. And in part by Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee, Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat, Jeff Eby for State Representative, Red Bird Realty, Porter Brothers HVAC LLC, Area 51 Tech Solutions, Micah Blunt State Farm Agency, Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint, Denton's The TV Store, Fast Stop Markets of Middle Tennessee, C&K Forklift Service and Repair, First Lending Solutions and Pam Witt, and by the Roxy 8 Theater of Dixon.